we love this game. We cherish it. And, these jerseys showcase that because, these jerseys wouldn't have been possible without everyone donating them.
Here we go, another episode of Closer Look across the Village Media Network and wherever you get your favorite podcast with Michael Friscolanti. I'm Scott Sexsmith. Welcome back to the show. It's day one. The Olympic Winter Games kick off today.
Is the opening ceremonies today? Or
I don't know if it's the openings. I don't know how that works. Do you know, Derek?
It's on the weekend.
Yeah, ceremonies on the weekend, but they start some of the games.
Okay.
Curling, mixed curling, I think Derek said started today.
Yeah.
And women's hockey.
First games tonight?
See, Derek should really just be at the table.
I know. Seriously.
What the hell are we doing
I've been
here?
saying that for months. Nobody listens to me. I know.
Play your cards right.
That's right. Never know what could happen. Maybe you'll get a brand new laptop like mine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just showing it off. It's right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Show and Tell, Closer Look style.
Yes.
Your brand new computer.
My new computer. You know what? I'm very excited. I'm sure listeners heard it humming sometimes.
Well, I was going to say, if you listen,
yeah, there's no noise.
You don't hear it.
I know. I'm going to get nostalgic. I was very fortunate. I covered the Vancouver 2010 Olympics, which was, I was thinking about it today, 16 years ago.
That's crazy.
My God, I did that.
What was the highlight for you?
Time flies.
Now, that was the golden goal?
That was the golden goal.
Right, okay.
So I wasn't covering hockey for the golden goal. I got to cover Team Martin, Kevin Martin, win the curling gold.
Right.
And two guys who are in the Olympics now with Team Jacobs are on that team. Mark Kennedy.
Yes.
And Hebert, right? Who's the other?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so both of them were on Team Martin.
Right.
I didn't understand anything about curling, and I had to go. To go cover curling. What else did I cover? Man, it's been so long. But my favorite story was I covered some ski events in Whistler. I was at Maclean's magazine at the time, and it was great. It was just the heyday of what I think the prime of the for me, it was an amazing time to be at the magazine. It was so many talented people there. And the whole staff got to go to Vancouver for the Olympics because it was a big Canadian thing.
Sure.
Obviously, the readership was huge. We did special editions. It was the heydays. And so everybody was there. And my colleague, Jonathan Gatehouse, who's now at the CBC, great guy, used to always quarterback our Olympic coverage because he actually covered every Olympics. That was part of his deal with Maclean's. He went to every Olympics.
Wow.
But he quarterbacked Vancouver. And I think I did some ski jumping. So like Lindsey Vonn was ski jumping. Not ski jump. Downhill. But I did do ski jumping. And then I remember my editor phoning me, Mark Stevenson, awesome guy. I hope some people listen to the show. Maybe they'll hear this. Canada members started off really rough in the men's hockey. They had lost a game.
Okay.
And they were playing, I think, Germany in the last round robin game. And had they lost, they wouldn't have made the medal round.
Wow.
Because they did. I don't remember all the deals, but they didn't start strong. So Mark, super smart guy, of course, phones me and says, "You know what, Frisco, it's covered. We got the hockey guys covering. But if they somehow lose to Germany, it'll be the biggest story in the country, and the whole country will be mourning. You got to be there just to. But Whistler's 3 hours away.
Yeah.
But they had a media school bus going back and forth.
Yep.
So I jumped on the school bus and got to the arena just in time. Sat down. I think after the first period was 5-0 Canada. So I got out of my journalism mode and I just started having a couple beers watching.
Nice.
And I'm watching this team was like, I was blown away by it.
Dream team.
You're like 10 feet away from like Sidney Crosby, Joe Thornton.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerome McGinley. Who's the goalie was the guy from Florida?
Luongo.
Yeah.
Roberto Luongo, yeah.
It was unbelievable. So they ended up winning the game like 20-0 or something.
Nice.
And then I was in the building. I stayed and I covered something they played Russia in that playoff too. I think it was the semifinal game or the quarterfinal game.
Yeah.
Blew out Russia like 7-2 and the place went bonkers. It was so loud in there.
Sure.
But I couldn't even get in. I couldn't get in. I had to go back to cover something else. But there was still a limited amount of media pass. Not any. You couldn't, just because you had an Olympic media pass didn't mean you can get into the rink. There was limited seating, but it was an amazing experience, and I'm very grateful I had a chance to do it.
What a cool thing to see.
It was.
And drinking beer on Maclean's dime.
I know. That's right. I might have paid
Best
for the
part.
beer on my own. I don't want to tell anyone. I don't know.
You submitted
It's
the
been
receipt. 16
16 years. I don't know.
It's funny that we talk all this talk about Olympics because tonight we're talking about a special jersey that's making its way.
That's
I'm
right.
sure it's there now.
The great Canadian jersey. I don't want to give away too much. People have probably read about this. This is where people donated their jerseys, and then a really talented person kind of took them and made 5 different jerseys with different patches. His name's Cameron Lizotte. Did I pronounce that right?
You did, yes.
Cameron
Very
Lizotte,
well
former OHL player from Sudbury, good Northern Ontario boy. He's now out on the West Coast, but he's going to join us tonight to talk about this project and all this heart and soul that went into it.
Hockey shapes a lot of Canadians, but very few end up stitching it together, literally. Cameron Lizotte was an OHL player with a real shot at going pro before following a different obsession, fashion. Now he's the designer behind the Great Canadian Jersey created for Rogers ahead of the 2026 Olympics. A single jersey made from patches and pieces from hockey teams across the country, worn by stars like Connor McDavid and Marie-Philippe Poulin. It's sports, it's art, and it's a uniquely Canadian story about identity, risk, and following your gut. Cameron joins us tonight on Closer Look. Cameron, welcome to the show. Great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you guys. Thanks for having me. And I appreciate the great intro. The fact that you consider me, I could have made it. I appreciate that.
Scott thinks he could have made it too, Cameron, so I don't know.
Look, we all had dreams, man. Let's be honest. Cameron, let's start with your journey from hockey rinks to the world of fashion. It's an amazing story. Can you start by telling us about that? How did it all happen?
Yeah, no, I grew up like most kids in Canada. All I dreamt of was to play in the NHL, and I was really fortunate at a young age. I was, ranked top 42 in Canada at 14.
Wow.
So, I had high hopes, and it was a possibility for me to make it all the way. And as you grow older, you just experience more parts of life. Not saying I lost the love of hockey, but I just grew more love for different things in this world. And, and then lo and behold, sewing. I was in high school. I played hockey in Peterborough for the OHL team there, and kind of dabbled in different mediums and in classes. And I just kind of fell in love with sewing once I picked it up.
That's an amazing thing. So just so everyone knows, you grew up in Sudbury, right? So you're a Northern Ontario kid. You're off in Peterborough. You learned sewing in high school, and you got really into it. What did your teammates think at the time? Did they razz you a little bit?
A little bit, but at the end of the day, I was the guy protecting them. So they made sure they kept their words pretty short. But of course, it's going to be something unusual to most kids. Like when I would go to the rink for practice the next day, and guys would be like, "Oh, that's a cool shirt. Like, where'd you get that?" Mm-hmm. I made it last night. You know what I mean? It was definitely not a typical answer.
That's awesome.
When you comment on your clothes, and it just, for the most part, they had big support. They loved what I was doing, and they thought it was super cool. It was a world that they had no clue about, and most of them were curious, and they supported me.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Cameron, do you ever look at your hockey career now and think that this actually trained me perfectly for what I'm doing now?
I do, because ever since at a young age, I gave it 110%. If anybody knows, whoever played me in hockey growing up, they know that I'm a workhorse. It's a guy that they don't want to play against. I'm tenacious. And I think that's just who I am. It wasn't just on the ice. So for me to bring that towards anything else I was passionate about was an easier thing for me to just kind of translate that into something different. And it definitely, my work ethic and just the ability to take criticism or my downfalls, it was able to bounce back even harder because of how hockey shapes you as a person.
I hope my kids listen to that, because I try to tell them that all the time. Doesn't matter what you do in life, you got to be the hardest worker at it, and you'll succeed, no matter whether you're, it's your first job as a teenager or whether it's a career you end up doing. Do your best at it, and you'll do fine. I'm sorry. That's my rant. Anyway, sorry. The jersey's fascinating, Cameron. Can you just tell us about just what it is, first of all, like what the contest was, or what the thing was that got people talking about this before we get into your designs?
Yeah. So just before Christmas, I got reached out by Rogers saying they didn't disclose too much information until I was able to confirm that I'm willing to do it. But basically, they wanted to make the Great Canadian Jersey. And I definitely was asked them, why me in a way, because it's Rogers. They're such a, conglomerate company. Why a small designer like me? But my hockey background was, that really gave me that edge to be the guy. They said they did a nationwide search for the best designers. They presented a few options, and I was unanimously chosen. So it was a huge honor. It was a huge honor to be chosen for this project. And it was a full circle moment, like at the end of the day, I had to pump my own tires, but I was the perfect guy for the job. Like with thousands, like hundreds of jerseys coming in, we had to make sure that we show equal representation throughout Canada. And most people in the studio had no clue where these jerseys were come from. Me, I was like, yeah, that's Ontario. Oh, playing against that team. That's in BC, so it made people's jobs a little easier with my knowledge.
That's
now,
great.
Cameron, if I recall the story, when you first got the email from Rogers, you thought it was spam. At what point did a light bulb go off and you're like, okay, this is legit?
Yeah, no, I know I mentioned that because like I did when I first saw the email before replying, I spent probably a good half an hour of just researching, like confirming the email is legit and just stuff like that before I really dove in didn't want to get too excited, but I'm happy it was real.
That's an amazing. Just to remind everyone, so what Rogers asked people around the country to just donate old jerseys, right, and throw so whether it was a beer league jersey or their junior hockey jersey. So did these hundreds and hundreds of jerseys show up at your house, or did they pick through them first before sending them off to you?
So luckily it worked out. Originally I was supposed to do it in my studio here in Sudbury, but we ended up. It would have been a lot easier for logistics for me to be in Toronto with their team. So I ended up going to Toronto early January and I spent 2 weeks working from there. So the studio there was a mess, just jerseys everywhere. There's a picture I shared on my socials, but I'm surrounded by them. It's just, you can't even see the floor.
And I'm sure the smell was great too, Cameron.
Hey, I was actually impressed. A lot of people, I think, clean their jerseys first. I was actually really impressed. It wasn't too bad.
I'm glad they didn't collect shin pads or something.
Yeah,
that would have been a whole different. The Great Canadian Shin Pad. So, were you in charge, Cameron, of picking the pieces you wanted? Like, did you pick the jersey? Did you have consultation from others?
Yeah, so as designer, I was in charge. Of course, there is a criteria we wanted to meet, making sure that representation was met throughout of all the provinces. Also, we wanted to represent the 7 Canadian NHL teams. Mm-hmm. So there was a bit of a criteria for me to follow. But at the end of the day, each patch you see was under my decision.
Mm-hmm. And you weren't just stitching patches, Cameron, you were stitching stories together. Was there a patch or a jersey that kind of stopped you in your tracks emotionally?
Definitely. A couple people actually attached notes to these jerseys, so it was super cool to read these notes from people around Canada, explaining their story a little bit. Like there was one kid out of Oakville and his note was super cute. And, it's like any 9-year-old. You had to put the sentence together. You could tell he was just learning how to write and read, but he was claiming that he could stop McDavid's shot. And, that was super cute to hear. And there was another one from Hamilton. A team donated their goalie's jersey because she passed away of cancer. So it was their way of memorializing her jersey. So I made sure to get her story attached. And reading a few of those notes just really was the essence of this project. It was a beautiful thing to kind of, not control, but be able to make the decisions to have these people's stories be told. It was very important for me to include everybody I could.
And just sitting here listening to you, you can tell how important it was, and you can hear the emotion
absolutely
in your voice, Cameron. You talked about loving the freedom of the sewing machine versus that of being coached. Can you explain the difference in control?
Well, yeah, what I mean by that, is especially when I was a rookie, I was in the stands about 50% of the games. And, you move away from home wanting to play the game of hockey, but you can't even do that. And so, just having the choice of being in a lineup or not, that was something that was very difficult for me to adjust to, especially from playing in Sudbury. I didn't get off the ice in Sudbury. So, stuff like that. And just the little things, just being able to, wear what I want. And so when it came to the sewing machine, any detail, any decision I made, fabric choice, just whatever it was, I was able to have, full control of what I wanted to do. And, coaches did their job. That's what they're meant to do. But I guess there was just part of me that wanted an outlet to kind of balance that.
So you created 5 different jerseys for this Great Canadian Jersey. How much thought do you have to put into trying to make each one unique? Is it to the initial person who looks at them might think, oh, they're just 5 cool jerseys all stitched together, but obviously a lot of thought went into each one. Yeah,
definitely. And honestly, to make it have its own identity was easy, because like, to say you get one jersey from this place, you don't use it, once or twice, and then that jersey, the logos, I've used up the logo, so I have to switch it up. And because of the selection, it was just very easy for me to make sure that I represented as much jerseys as I could, and switched it up. And of course, at first glance, it might look like just one big collage that looks kind of the same, but if you really look closely at each 5 of those jerseys, that it'll take you on a slightly different journey across Canada.
And what's the plan for the 5 jerseys? What will they be used for?
Obviously the first one was for McDavid, and for the commercial that was shot, that's been seen on TV now. Couple other, Pronger wore it for Amazon Monday Night Hockey. Marchand was seen wearing it. Bennington, Celebrini. So it was just amazing to see these top tier players wearing my work. It's a true honor. And, there's rumors that there might be one that will be in the Hockey Hall of Fame for a bit. That would be an ultimate goal of mine. That'd be a dream to have my work there. But as far as the far future goes, that's still in the works. I'm not 100% sure. If I got one in return, hey, that'd be pretty cool. I would definitely love to put it on my wall. But I hope whatever happens to these jerseys, they're represented well, and whoever has them, it deserves them.
It would look great right beside that Team Canada jersey that's over your shoulder.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing about your brick wall. It would look right good over your shoulder.
See, that's a real designer right there. He understands the brick. That's right.
Look, if Rogers wants to send us one of the 5, Cameron,
or maybe Village, you'll have to do one for Village Media. We'll commission you to do your separate one for us.
There you go. Send in your beer league jersey,
and we'll wash them first.
Thank you,
Cameron. This project is just soaked in Canadian identity. Did it change how you think about your own place in this country's hockey culture?
In a way, I wasn't surprised. This is our game. We know that. We know how much hockey brings us together and how much this country values this game. So to see the amount of love and support through the donations and like the notes we spoke of, it doesn't surprise me. There's definitely no surprises. We love this game. We cherish it. And, these jerseys showcase that, because, these jerseys wouldn't have been possible without everyone donating them.
Give us a great story about one of the reactions you got when the jerseys were unveiled, whether someone from Rogers or someone in the public telling you what they thought of them.
Yeah. McDavid had a comment, and he's very stoic a lot of the times, but it was nice to hear him compliment it. I was very happy to see MPP, Maddie Poulin, to see her confidence exude through herself wearing that jersey on game day as she walked through the arena. That was so special. I know it wasn't a comment, but you could see it through her face, the way she walked. You could tell that she was proud to wear that jersey, and that meant a lot to me.
Absolutely. Did Connor McDavid know that you're both Erie Otter alumni?
Oh, he knows. He knows. He knows that I have the ring with Erie. So, for some reason, I got traded there, and we won. He couldn't do it. I
can't imagine why that happened. That's amazing.
I played against him lots growing up, and he has ties in Sudbury with his wife. So I know we're distant colleagues here, but. It was special to have him be included.
Let's be honest, you're dropping his name all over Sudbury, right?
That's right. Yeah. He's sitting beside you over there. You don't want to turn the camera. Yeah. I'm not going to ask this question, Cameron, but I want to ask this because what you said about hockey totally rings true. What it means to this country, how much we love the game, our kids play it. And, sometimes we see the dark side of hockey. We saw just this week, we saw the Northern Ontario Hockey Association kind of scolding parents for the way they behaved at a tournament. You've been in this game your whole life. You love the game. You know it better than most. What's your message for people to how we get back to why we love this game? What do we need to be doing?
I know, like, sometimes passion for the game comes out in the wrong ways, and people just need to know how to, show their passion. My brother's a ref in the town. He's one of the biggest refs in the city here in Sudbury. And I actually ref with him once in a while when he needs a linesman. So I've seen it firsthand, I'm very blessed and lucky that my dad and my mom was supportive in the right ways. They showed their passion through, you don't have to be the loudest person in the ring to show your passion. So that's why I tell people, instead of telling someone, stop being angry or whatever it is like, just learn how to control your passion. I heard that too with the parents are getting out of hand, and it's too bad because at the end of the day, these are kids playing a game and we're trying to have fun. That's why we're here. We're here to have fun. So this is not the NHL. Your kid's 10 years old, so let's just have fun.
Absolutely.
Because I have teammates that their parents were too intense that way, and it pushed them away from the game. So I'm sure a lot of them, that's not what they want to do. So learn how to control it. And if you have your after every game, my dad had the coach's corner. They did in Don Cherry back in the day. Just after the game, you have your coach's corner, and you have a mature conversation about, hey, this is what you could do better, or maybe simplify this. And there's different ways to, express yourself. And I hope people can understand that.
Absolutely.
Every hockey parent needs to live by that.
That's right.
Cameron, lots of young athletes listening and watching tonight, no doubt, who are quietly wondering about their own plan B. What would you say to them? Yeah,
that's a good question. I was very lucky that, I expressed my interest, with my guidance counselor in Peterborough. Her job with the players was to help us, guide us to find, an alternative if hockey didn't work out, and never look at that like a negative thing. If anything, it's exciting. You only go on the ice a few hours of the day. What are you going to do with the rest of it? It's nice to do something meaningful that's healthy. Just don't be shy to explore your interests. It's not like I just chose fashion and that was the first choice I made. No, of course I explored. I tried different mediums and did different things. But once you find something that clicks with you, nourish it. Like Pat Quinn says, obey your passion. So find your passion and obey it.
That's right.
And just kind of see where it takes you. Even if it's not serious to start, just kind of have fun with things and just don't be shy to try new things.
Absolutely.
It's crazy what could happen.
That's a great point. What's next for you, Cam?
I'm back in Sudbury. I got lots of custom works to do. So I'm doing awesome jackets for a hometown podcast in town called the BTB podcast. They're great guys. I was actually reached out. I don't want to say the name yet, but luckily, I was hoping that this project would bring more opportunity. And there is another hockey legend that has reached out to maybe do something with their memorabilia. Wow. So I can't say the name yet. I would hate to jinx it, but I'm just super excited to continue doing work in the hockey community and just honor people's careers and in art form. So just sewing away, man. That's what it is.
Well, if you're into designing podcast swag,
we'll have to give you a call too. That's
we're looking for a hookup.
Sure.
That's right.
Cam, before we let you go, anything we didn't touch on tonight about the jerseys or anything else?
No, I just really appreciate the support. I know my name's being used a lot with this project, but it wasn't just me. I had my right-hand man, Liam Bursey. He was my photographer, but he's also a good friend of mine. He was with me through the project throughout the whole process. And, it was overwhelming at times with the deadlines and with all the hands that wanted to be on this jersey. So I really appreciate Liam's efforts with me and also my family. They support me from the beginning, ever since I asked them for a sewing machine at Christmas until my stressful, late night chats during this project. always been there for me, and I'm just super grateful to have a support system to make this all possible.
All right, good stuff. He's an OHL champ and has now designed a piece of hockey history that will forever be a part of the True North strong and free. Cameron Lizotte. Cam, thanks for your time tonight. We appreciate it.
Yeah, likewise, guys. Take care. Appreciate it.
To quote Don Cherry, what an absolute beauty.
Yeah, he was
Cameron.
awesome. He was awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? Good for him. He's finding some well-deserved success.
Yeah.
And I just love that story because, you know, the jerseys we've been hearing about, it's been in the news. Roger's been putting a lot of PR into this and pumping it up. But it is a very cool concept. People were donating their jerseys. But here's the kind of conversations I love on this show. Just him talking about the letters he received from kids, from the team that lost a teammate to cancer.
Oh, I know.
You know, and just, you know, and how he recognized which parts of the country these jerseys were from because Hockey Journey. And just hearing him talk passionately about how he's confident now that if you played him back in the day, you'll know that you played him because he worked you hard. He was a tough guy, right?
Yeah.
And he was played really hard, played with a lot of passion. And now he's translated that passion into this work that he's doing. I just think it's phenomenal.
It is, and we didn't talk about this, and I should have brought it up. You mentioned winning the championship in Erie. Here's some of the guys that he played with. By the way, he missed playing with McDavid, I think, by 2 seasons. But he did play with Alex DeBrincat, Taylor Radish, Anthony Cirelli, Jordan Sambrook, and Dylan Strome, just to name a few. All those guys going to the bigs.
Because they won the Erie Otters won the OHL championship in 2017.
Yeah.
So is he a defenseman, I assume?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
You imagine that coming at you?
Oh, my. That's
Nope.
crazy.
I'm out.
That's crazy. I just can't. You know, he's going to find so much. People are going to want his clothes. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I've already sent him my old dress shirts.
I'm not doing it. No, you're not going to suck me in.
No
way.
No way.
All right, let's get out of here. Closer look at villagemedia.ca. That is our email address. And if you'd like to sign up to our nightly newsletter, please do so. Closerlookpodcast.ca is where you can do just that. Olympics starting tonight. Go Canada, go. Derek Turner at the helm tonight, as always. For Michael Friscolanti, our editor-in-chief, I'm Scott Sexsmith. Thanks for watching. Oh, by the way, next week, Sid Sixero on the program, formerly of Tim and Sid and Breakfast Television.
Keep the sports going.
Well, why not? That's next week. Watch for that. Closer look. We're back tomorrow night at 7 right here.
Frisco and Scott's Wardrobe provided in part by Moores, Sault Ste. Marie.